Hi friends, this is Fernando Thompson in a chapter of Ask For, and today we're going to talk about something different. We have Peter Ostroske, that he is the Chief Executive Officer of Ofi.com, and in this case we're going to talk about startups, technology, and differentiators. Peter, welcome. Thanks for accepting the invitation. First, explain me very fast, how come that an American choose Latin America to start a big business? You are doing so well, and also you get married with a Latin America. Why Latin America? Why you choose Latin America?
That's a good question. I receive that question a lot. My experience started in New Orleans. That's where I'm from. And there's a really big Latin American community in New Orleans, a lot of Hondurans, a lot of El Salvadorians. And growing up, I played soccer and I got to know the community. And I thought after I attended business school in the US, I just want to get out of the United States. I want to go somewhere different. So I thought, why not start a business and travel and go to Latin America and do both of these things at the same time? So that's what I did.
Funny, because many people from Latin America, they think to have a business and start a business in the US. And in this case, it's an American watching for opportunities in Latin America. What do you see in Latin America as an opportunity? Because you have office in Colombia, Chile, Mexico, Brazil. So what do you see in Latin America?
Some of the best entrepreneurs that I've ever met are in Latin America. I have lived in Sao Paulo, I've lived in Bogota, and now I live in Mexico City. And everybody in Latin America is entrepreneurial. What you find also is that people tend to think locally and maybe even regionally, but oftentimes I think Latin American entrepreneurs really need to start thinking more globally and thinking about how to scale their businesses. And for an entrepreneur like myself, who's receiving venture capital financing, oftentimes the trick is how to scale your platform, how to get your business from 1 to 10 to 10 to 100 as quickly as possible. And I think that maybe Latin American entrepreneurs need to embrace this idea of scalability and think about how to grow their businesses on a global scale and not think of themselves as a secondary market.
And that's very interesting because you have venture capitals behind you, and sometimes some entrepreneurships in Latin America don't want to go for ask for money. I don't know if they have shame or something, no? You have a very good idea, you go for the money, you are working in IT industry, so how do you bring all together in one formula?
So I think that there's a few aspects that any investor is going to look for. I think the first thing that they're going to look at is the team. I think a lot of people are individual entrepreneurs, and that's okay, but if you're going to receive venture capital financing, you really have to build out a solid team. It could be a friend, but more than likely it's going to be the experts in each one of their functional fields. The best commercial director.
How many employees do you have right now?
We have a little over 200 employees.
200 employees?
That's right.
Wow. And all they come from Latin America?
Yeah, they're all from Mexico, Colombia. We have a few people from Europe, but I would say 98% of our employees are from Mexico and America.
How old are you?
36.
Jesus, you're doing so fine. You're doing so fine. So no boundaries, so no limits. Where do you think Ofi is going to be in the next 5 years?
So Ofi, right now, our mission is to make businesses in Latin America more competitive. That's what we're trying to accomplish. And we think that as the technology ecosystem becomes more and more complicated, in 2010 there were 250 B2B SaaS applications on the global market, and today there's over 10,000. So we see a high level of complexity when businesses try to navigate that ecosystem, and our job is to help them make smart decisions. If they have a problem, we hope that Ofi becomes that end-to-end platform that allows them to solve it. So we're really about business solutions.
You're not afraid about the political environment in Mexico or corruption issues across Latin America as an entrepreneur?
I've been down here 8 years between Sao Paulo, Bogota, and now Mexico City, and I believe that there will always be moments in each country's political history that are less favorable than others. And as an entrepreneur, I think you just have to learn how to mitigate that risk, know when to invest more, when to invest less, but it's not about abandoning the market. I think foreign investors still look very positively on Latin America, particularly in Mexico. I'd say Mexico is in the spotlight right now. I'm not sure if everybody realizes that, but if you were to look at the large markets, obviously Brazil being one of them, and Mexico being the other, I think Mexico is in a very favorable place, where in 2010 there's statistics where there's around $200 million in VC investments in Latin America. And in 2018, I think we expected to see a little bit more than $1 billion.
$1 billion?
$1 billion.
Wow.
$1 billion. So it's definitely, it's catching the eye of foreign investors. It's not just about the United States, China, India. Latin America is an important market.
How do you choose your differentiators against your competition?
So that's a good question. I think you really can't do everything, so you have to choose. So for instance, in the case of Ofi, which is we're an IT solutions provider, we have different distribution models, and that's what we focus on. We figure out what is the best way to get a solution in the hands of our customers, and we're not really focused on developing the software or the cloud application ourselves. That's not our core business. So I think if you want to focus on one thing, do it well, and I think that's the key to entrepreneurship.
Okay, last question, very tough.
Yeah.
I asked you before, where are you going to be in the next 5 years? I'm quite sure a company like yours and that speed of raising that kind of money, you definitely are going for an IPO. Are you going for an IPO?
That's the idea. I mean, that's every entrepreneur's dream. It's going to be a challenge, but that's the expectation that we've laid out for our investors and for our team. And so we hope within the next 4 or 5 years that we could be a public trade company in the United States.
Okay,
Yeah.
guys, this is a different case, an American coming to Latin America to start a business here, growing with Latin American executives, having office in how many countries of Latin America?
We have 10 offices in 10 different cities.
Which ones?
Mexico City, Guadalajara, Monterrey, Querétaro, Bogotá, Medellín, Barranquilla, Cali, Bucaramanga, and Sao Paulo.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I think that Latin America is very exciting. Information technology with the products and services that they are offering, that by the way, they are offering an extra formula like artificial intelligence, cloud computing, blockchain, hardware and software with different services. I think that you should look to the website of these guys. And thanks for accepting the invitation. And I hope that we can encourage to more people to have some differentiator companies and startups like yours here in Mexico. Thanks.
No, thank you very much for the invitation.
Thank you.
Yeah.
See you in the next one. And if you want to be in contact with him, you can check the email address, and the URL, and follow us. I see you in the next video of Ask For.